Well, this is a stream that's gonna be, I'm a little ashamed of. I'm gonna just say it right now. It's a programming stream, and I may have done something I'm not quite proud of. But I'm kind of proud of it too, because the end result is pretty awesome. How I got there is, I don't really want to show you this, but I feel like I have to. I would much just be like, look at me, I'm a genius. But when you see what I did, you're going to be like, oh, I'm a little disappointed. So let me first impress you, and then I'm going to destroy that expectation just completely. Go, wow, that's amazing. You must be a genius to create that. And then I'm going to show you how I created it. And you're going to be like, I take it back. I just completely take it back. So that's kind of what we got. I it kind of broke something, but I've been tinkering around with something, and I kind of feel guilty. I feel guilty about tinkering around with this because I've spent too much time on it, and I love it. I love it. I love it. All right. Yeah. See, chat already knows. Chat already knows. I can see Phoenix in chat. Carlton. Senior prompt LLM engineer here reporting in. Let me just show you. Let me just show you what we got. It's it's good. So what I did is I've been playing Age of Empires 4, right? A game. The game doesn't matter. But what ended up happening was I wanted to see all my games. So I was like, oh, I found another site to kind of pull some information from. So it was like this site. Now, this site shows kind of like a game history, and it's not bad. It's good for like analyzing sites, but I kind of wanted a full breakdown of it. And this site, what it has is these little links to Twitch streams, which are fine for 14 days. After 14 days, Twitch deletes your VODs. Yeah, thanks, Twitch. I mean, can't even be somewhat like YouTube. But I usually multi-stream, so YouTube will save my videos forever. Get what I'm at, right? So even though this link goes to Twitch, well, what if we transitioned that hyperlink from Twitch and figured out the YouTube equivalent? That'd be cool. And then pull in all of those games into here and pull it into a markdown file. So then not only will we have just, I think it's only like the last 20 games or 30 games, and then that's it. It won't report any more than that. So it'll go back. Oh, this one actually says it goes back this much, but I basically am pulling in all those games. So I was like, okay, cool. But I want to link those games and have them for eternity, and I want them timestamped because who wants to look through an old VOD, right? So what I've done is you can click on it, and it'll go right to the game where I'm playing. So this is from Boston Pizza, Japanese versus Holy Roman Empire, whatever, right? And you can see that what we clicked on, which was right here, Japanese Holy Roman Empire, Boston Pizza, was a win on 10-5. So we just went back in time almost 19 days and was able to look at that exact game, my rating at that time, the differential MMR difference of that, and then I can analyze it. I know. So what did I do here? And I put together 2 Python scripts. Yeah. You're like, Titus, I didn't know you knew Python. I don't really. I mean, no, I don't. Why do you need to analyze your games? Because it's just cool to analyze them, right? So what I ended up doing for the first Python script was I figured out that AOE4 World had an API. So I pulled this, which was just a JSON file in. And then I kind of saw, okay, this is the data it's given me. And I figured out pretty fast by pulling an old cursor. You know, I hate to be one of those AI bros going, ooh, cursor. But I pulled in cursor, used Sonnet because old Jippity just gave really bad results, like really bad. And I just proceeded to go, here is what I need. So I was like, hey, I want you to pull these in. I'm looking for this specific thing through an LLM. And I want you to write it in Python for me. And I want you to use this API. And I pointed it to it. And it was able to pretty much do it. Now, any programmer in chat will tell you this screams LLM. Why does it scream LLM? Look at the comments. Someone with a room temperature IQ can figure out real fast that these comments, that's just LLMs. Like, no programmer's like, I need to put a comment here that says create a set of existing games to check duplicates, when like the very first couple lines tell you exactly what it's doing. So you can usually state, okay, well, this is obvious LLM, but I want to show you the work of LLM. So if you do have programming and you get like a PR, you're going to be able to recognize LLM work really fast. And the reason why it's really important to understand when you get LLM work and when you don't have LLM work is because when it gets overly complex and there's a bunch of comments, you should deny that pull request. So it's really important to understand, yes, they're very powerful. Yes, they can do crazy stuff like what I just showed. But at the same time, is this the most efficient? Probably not. Is it overly complex? Yeah. There's many prompts where I was like, this is stupid. You've added 5 functions, you moron. You need to make this 2 functions. And instead of making 4 variables to do the match case, you need to be making 2 variables. Splitting these up into multiple variables is only going to give bad results. So you still have to have a brain, is what I'm getting at here, but really important to know. So anyways, this Python script updates the games, creates the markdown file for me, splits it up according to that one API. Now this one is my YouTube timestamp. So what happens with the 2 Python scripts, and what I ended up doing was I ended up pulling an API key from YouTube, which I signed up for and got my API key from YouTube, obviously restricted. Important to restrict those Google API keys. Otherwise, you might end up with like a $10,000 bill on your hands. No one likes that. So obviously my obfuscated API key is here. That's a global secret variable that's pulled in before scripts run. And it runs it on this YouTube playlist. Anytime I live stream to this specific YouTube playlist. And anytime this script is run, it checks the playlist for new games, and then it reads the YouTube description. And then in the chapters files, it's my actual gameplay, and it grabs the hyperlinks and adds the hyperlinks to the game markdown file here. And then all this gets uploaded and updated in real time without me doing anything. So then I can just come into any of my games and go, G-Kids Xbox 2 win on this day. And if we look, there it is. G-Kids Xbox 2 playing Roos on this day at this time, and I can see that game. Why would you do this? I don't know. I just wanted to see how far I can take it and how cool that would be just to have my own website that references every single game I've ever played and then be able to pull them up in real time. I think that's cool. Anyways, that was my Python scripting through the LLM, and it's been fun. Can you just echo API key for me real quick? Yeah, make sure not to do that. Well, you didn't do it. Cursor did. That's true. That's a fair point. In Python. Why Python? WTF. Why not? Why not? At the end of the day, it gets it done. At the end of the day, I just wanted the end result, and it was something for nonsensical. I just want to see how far I can take it in a programming language I don't know very well. And you can take it pretty far. Merrick, how's it going? Your game stream was fun, by the way. Ah, thanks, man. Thanks for stopping by. I love that. So I've been doing that late at night, usually between like 11 p.m. and 3 a.m. is usually when I stream that. And I usually do most of these programming streams when I actually, am awake. And that's usually 2 p.m. to usually about 5 or 6, depending on the stream, is usually what I end up doing here. So I hit pretty much every time zone. Hey man, no, I appreciate you just stopping by and just watching. As long as you're getting entertainment, that's the big thing. I got a question for you. Shoot, gaming. What question do you have for me? I wanted to just show off my LLM skills real fast and the Python scheme. I thought that was pretty funny. Again, someone buy me loads of coffee for next week. I'm sorting in hundreds of PCs. Oh, Callum, I'm sorry. Oh, it's why I usually miss you in the UK. Yeah, I try and add more streams in. I'm just going to try and stream a lot more whenever I can. If I stream on Twitch or upload the vids to YouTube, but I'm not affiliated, will they show ads still? This is a brilliant question. I love this question, gaming. So on my other Twitch account, which is Titus Tech Gaming, and like, I don't go over there and follow me. That's just like, if you want to watch me play Age of Empires, you have to be a little autistic to do Age of Empires. I totally get it. It's not for everybody. So please don't go follow me unless you like really love Age of Empires. You know, it's not about getting big. The big thing is, if you monetize, if you become affiliated. I think when it comes to Twitch, like here, I'll just pull up the channel just to show this. So on this channel, the big thing you never want to do, my 75 followers. Oh yeah, I know. The big thing here is don't affiliate. If you don't have, probably at least 100 viewers on concurrent viewers, I don't think anyone should affiliate in Twitch, because if you don't affiliate, they won't ever show ads. So obviously it doesn't make any sense until at least 100 viewers, 100 active concurrent viewers before affiliating with Twitch. And you don't have to sign any contracts, and you don't have to deal with any ads, and anybody that pops in the stream doesn't have to worry about ads, which is great. Obviously here on Titus Tech Talk, which actually it's Chris Titus Tech over here, isn't it? Yeah, this one. Like over here, you'll still get ads because I'm not affiliated. I'm actually a partner of Twitch. And the whole point of this is to, I do get paid. So it's pretty much my full-time gig. I mean, it's not like a whole bunch of money, but it's like 500, 600 bucks a month. So, you know, that's something. But it's a good question, when to affiliate, when not to. I don't think anybody should. Like, there's no point. Like, if we look at, geez, I think I have it up over here, actually. Let's just look at my analytics. I get sidetracked. I get burned. Let's go earnings. Here we go. All right, all my monies. I made $401 last month. And of those monies, let's see, we made $47 on ads. And that's with anywhere between usually about 150 average viewers and 300 active viewers. It varies depending on the subject I'm talking about over here, but that's a substantial amount of viewership, and I'm making about 50 bucks. I'd say that's worth it for the size I'm at right now. But if you're under 100 average viewers, I don't think anybody should ever affiliate with Twitch. That way your viewers, anybody that pops into chat, doesn't have to watch an ad. And that's a big deal. I hate ads. Just absolutely despise them. So anyways, thanks for the question. There's an answer. Yeah. Can you share the gaming link? I don't know. I mean, it's like my passion project. What I don't want is people popping over there and asking me tech questions when I'm gaming. Like, I don't mind if someone pops over there and is like, hey, I love Age of Empires, and like, hey, what about this counter? Or, oh, you should probably go build more racks because you're a little bit low on this charge. I want more like a gaming type deal over there. I'm not looking for like a bunch of followers. I mainly just want to focus on gaming because it's like it's like my fun free hobby. So I don't want to like intermingle the tech audience with the gaming audience. Does that make sense? I know that sounds weird, but yeah, bigger number, not always good. Yeah, I get a lot of backseat gaming because I'm so new and I kind of suck at the game, but I just love it. It's all about having fun. That's my big my big goal, the big thing over there is just to have fun. My PR is set to draft. I haven't had time, given the time outside. New game. If anyone wants to tackle the issue, I plan on fixing they can. Yeah, we do need to look at that, actually. Let's pull up old WinUtil. It's been a little bit. And I need to... it's the whole point of the stream's programming. So let's pull up old programming. Make a bot that says talk to the hands when anybody asks tech questions. Yeah. How interested would you be on a NixOS-like configuration in a distro using Lua? I mean, I'll take a look. You playing any other games besides Age of Empires? I tried like Throne of Liberty. I didn't like it. I thought it was kind of like, meh, more of the same. And then I tried, what else was I trying? I didn't do the new Diablo, and I'm a huge Diablo guy, but I think Diablo 2 is the last great Diablo game. And I saw the new expansion coming out for Diablo 4. I waited for it to release, and then I watched the reviews of it, and I was like, I think I'm going to take a pass. So that's the very first Diablo expansion I've ever skipped in my life. So that's kind of wild. A lot of modern gaming, I don't know if it's over monetized or what, but I want something unique, and most of modern gaming just doesn't deliver anymore. So yeah. And we're up to 80 plus on LinUtil. Oh gosh, we'll have to probably look at that. I suppose you saw how many PRs on LinUtil. I know. Yeah, D4, I liked the atmosphere, I think. And I thought, oh, this could be great. But at the end of the day, it just felt soulless. You know, Diablo 4, I played it. And while I was playing it, the best way I can articulate what I was feeling was, yeah, if I was a programmer, I'd probably put this in here. Yeah, I guess that makes sense. They probably should have added more things like gem stacking. I can't believe that wasn't out of the gate. And there was just like, at the end of the day, I was looking at it more from a programming standpoint when I was playing the game. And I was like, this isn't fun. This doesn't feel like much passion was put in here. It felt like they just said, okay, that box is checked. That box is checked. That box is checked. Okay, did we get paid? We got the payout? Okay, we're good. We're going home. It's 5 o'clock. Let's get out of here. And that's what Blizzard feels like today. It's just like check the boxes. And there's no passion behind it, no soul in the game. And the games themselves reflect that. And I think most of the player base will just get tired of playing the same thing. Or maybe not. Maybe I'm just old and jaded. What's up with the YouTube VODs? Oh, yeah. I switched from re-uploading them to just going public after like a week or two. So I just do slight edits and just chop out the beginning of them. And then it just goes directly to public after like a couple weeks. Because I was sitting here for like 3 hours editing those VODs about every VOD I would do. And I was like, this sucks. I don't like this. And I looked at the money I was making over there. And I was like, is this really worth my time? And at the end of the day, I was like, nah, not really. Let's just put it public after a couple weeks and we'll just space them out. So that's what I ended up doing with the VODs over on Titus Tech Talk. All right, so let's get into WinUtil, and then probably look at LinUtil if we have a shot. What are the latest issues, by the way? Chris Titus, WinUtil. Hi, I'm new to the forums, so please be aware. Okay, let's sign in. We're gonna need to do some work here. Let's do this. Oh boy, that is not a form. This is for issues. We'll see what the issue is. GitHub. Let's verify. All right, there we go. Coming back. All right, let's go back in. Yeah, I prefer keeping all of it. Yeah, and that's basically what I came to it be. I was like, am I really adding stuff by chopping out all the dead air in these streams? And I started looking back on my streams and watching them, and I yap a lot and I chat a whole bunch. So I was sitting there going, there's really not that much dead air. And sometimes it makes a really kind of a jarring jump cut when I'm using recut. So I was like, nah, I'm just going to leave the whole VOD up. I feel like it's fine. It's good. It's good enough. So I don't have to remix it or anything. How about we do LinUtil first? All right, let's get through. Let's do, instead of doing a specific number, let's do it by time. So it is 2:11. At 2:30, we'll switch over to LinUtil. I think that's fine. I don't see what you do on screen when you're silent. That's true because it just skips over it. So that's no bueno. Okay. First issue number 2575. I've been using this utility for various machines with no issues. I bought the new Win11 ran tweaks. No problem. When I try to run Oh No Shut Up, I get a message on the terminal. Error downloading and running Oh No Shut Up. Really? Let's go virtual machine. What do we got? Oh no, it's running. Oh, there we go. Let's just run this guy, right? It's Oh No Shut Up related. Did they block us on the download? Do we need to remove it? I mean, we don't really use Oh No Shut Up. Back in the day, it was part of the essential tweaks, but these days it's more for a customizability. Just an extra thing to add in. Oh No Shut Up. It's a tweak tool that a lot of people like on Windows. So that's what it is. It was initially launched as a privacy tool because of the really egregious telemetry in Windows 10. And it's just been kind of a... Oh. We got no internet access. What's up with that? Well, let's just give it a restart. See what happens. Why not make PR maintainers to reject the bad PRs without accepting the good ones in order to leave them to you? I think we're going to have to probably do something like that. I'll get with like Adam and some of the other big people that are in the LinUtil project, so it's not so much work. I'll have to look at how we can do that to... I think we can do it like the dash close issue, how we did and manage the close issues. I think we'll make like a close and expand that out to pull requests and then just assign that to probably like 2 or 3 really big developers on there. Yeah, because Adam, there's no chance in hell I'm getting through 80 PRs. I think we both know that. I'm not that delusional. Tux, thanks for the tier 1. 6 months, man. All right. Let's go. All right. What is going on with my Windows? Did I break my internet? I guess so. Oh, damn it. What's happening? Watch, I probably like remove something and yeah, not grabbing an internet connection. Huh. What? BR0 active 136. IP config dash all says 136. Huh. Oh, that's right. Let's go ncpa.cpl. Sorry for the flashbang, but you know, me and my Windows, we like to flashbang everybody. My bad. My bad. Sorry, guys. Sorry. All right, now we got it. All right, we're good. It's like, what's going on here? Yeah, it helps if you have a proper... I forgot about the ad card. And I probably shut down that afterwards. Yeah, the DNS fun. It's always DNS, right? I always love that Harry Potter meme. It's like it's always you three, and it's like DNS. Oh God, what is it? DNS, Active Directory probably, and I'm trying to think what oh, shoot. I mean, I'm trying to think of what are the 3 most common issues I run into daily in business. Definitely DNS is usually a big top one. That's always number 1 probably for especially internet issues. Reboot. Yeah, for Windows, for sure. Have you rebooted your machine? All right. Let's go tweaks and run no shut up. Is that going to work? Oh, it worked here. I am unable to replicate this issue. Okay. Maybe, I think their site must have been down. Okay. Must have been down. All right. Moving on. Do we look at PRs? I hate to just do one issue and run, but you know. Please add, that's an enhancement. Yep. 24H2 Edge not uninstalling. Oh yeah, we gotta fix that. That's a legit. I'm using Rove uninstaller. I don't think I've ever used Rove. Anyhow, yeah, this is. Yeah, so this is another big thing that's happening with it. There was a intelligence update to Windows Defender, and it's flagging the shortcut creation. Yeah. Yeah, so here's a maddening thing about Windows. Oh, printers. Printers is on the top 3, too. I freaking hate printers. All right, here's the big thing. And this is really maddening. So back in the day when it came to antiviruses, they actually scanned your computer for threats. And when they found targeted threats and it was like, hey, this is malicious, it would flag that specific executable. That's no longer how shit works. Antiviruses don't actually scan things for viruses anymore. It's all reputation based now. So you have to pay to play. You have to pay to get exempted. If you want to examine this, the funny thing is you can make a virus to test it. Go ahead and make like just a simple rabbit virus, right? Very simple. And if you're unfamiliar, just look up rabbit virus and you can make it in a batch file if you want. Something really malicious that will crash computers, but very, very simplistic on its head. And all a rabbit virus is just... name it virus.exe too. So that's the funny thing. So a very simplistic virus, you can make it. You can make it a batch file. You can make it a script. You can make it an executable. It doesn't matter how you implement this. Just make something that replicates on itself. A very easy behavior that every antivirus should block. Guess what? You'll find with 100% accuracy that every single one of the antiviruses on the market will not flag your virus that you create on your machine. Why? Because there's no history, there's no reputation, and it hasn't been submitted yet. So you're thinking to yourself, well, so how does Windows antivirus actually protect my computer? And it really doesn't. These antiviruses are just really false positives almost always. And when you don't pay to play, like I don't, I do actually pay a little bit for the old version of the signing, the code signing. So I usually, with as many runs as the utility has, millions now, it usually now is said, hey, millions of people run this and they don't flag it as a virus. So history has shown that it isn't a virus, so we're not going to flag it. Where we used to run into a lot of flags, especially a year or two ago. Now we don't really run into very many. And I don't get it. I don't get it. Like, how do we go from antivirus being like an essential tool to this? Anywho, we can remove the shortcut creation, or maybe make the shortcut creation not do it as administrator. I think maybe that code could possibly trigger something here. But the creation of the file as a shortcut is the main problem. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. That's kind of where I'm at on this. Yeah, we pay. You have to pay Komodo. So I don't know what the back end looks like and what the payout monetization side of things in big tech is for this, but what I'm talking about here is if you go to like Komodo, SSL store actually is not a bad one. You have to do code signing certs if you develop on Windows. Now, traditionally you use these old school code signing certs. Now, it used to be, I think I paid $150 for 3 years, 2 years ago. So it would have been 2022. This code signing cert used to be about, so this is actually 600 and yeah, so it requires a USB token now. So this is like 600 and something bucks where it used to be $150. So when you look at inflation, obviously 4x inflation, 400% inflation, that doesn't really jive. What happened here? Well, the powers that be, these people, can't say anything more than that. These people decided to increase their rates by 400% for standard code signing. So it doesn't really make any sense. And now you just get the extended validation because that's essentially what standard code signing is doing. So just pay for this. And this one for 3 years is going to be about $864 compared to like the $600 one. So you typically would go here, you pay your ransom or your payment of 800 and some bucks, and then you can sign your stuff, and then antiviruses won't flag you. That's just how antivirus works now. So if you want to develop and you want to get into programming, just you gotta pay. It's a lot of $10 downloads. Yeah, cost of doing business, I suppose. And this just increases all software cost across the board. So any major company that distributes, they have all this overhead. Well, this just increases the overhead. So it just makes using Windows products much more cumbersome and more expensive. Why'd they do it like this? Because they can. Yeah, pay to win. It just kind of like, ugh. Whatever, I'm going to pay it. I just like to bitch about it every time I run into it. So anytime I see something like this, I'm just like, yeah, whatever. I guess I'll just pay the ransom and then it'll go away. Anyways, moving on. Install updates if Discord is already installed and is selected. Oh, yeah, Discord's kind of weird. Yeah, Discord should auto-update on launch. But I don't really like to use Discord like that. A lot of times I just like to use it in my tab. Anybody that's tried to contact me from Discord knows what I'm talking about because I don't really get notifications. Most good AV has a setting to disable blind trust and digitally sign executables. That's good. For most people, yeah, I think today most people will do phishing sponsors. So, or phishing, especially. I'd say most users fall prey to phishing emails or phishing websites. Like, oh, a good one. I taught my daughter a lesson the other day. She was doing like Roblox or some crap, and it was a great lesson where she was trying to sell something on the in-game marketplace, and then she found like this other website outside the game to do the trades, and you get a better deal. And I was like, that sounds fishy. I'm gonna just watch her fall prey to this trap, as it'll be a good lesson. So she sits there, and then she's like, hey, I'm entering my account info. And I was like, you sure you want to do that? You sure you want to give away that game account you've been working on for like 5 years with all the data on it? She's like, what do you mean? I'm just signing in so then it can properly record my items that I have in game. I was like, that's what they're telling you. But do you think there might be some ulterior motive? And she's like, no, Dad, you just don't know what you're talking about. I'm like, I think Dad knows a thing or two about this stuff. But I'll let you continue. So she goes in, and I went ahead and actually added 2-factor on her account just so she wouldn't lose her account. She's like, okay, well, I need the 2-factor authentication. She types it all in, and she does it. And then I'm like, oh no, what's going on over there? And she's like, oh, something's up. It's just not doing the trade. And I was like, interesting. And she looks at me, she's like, Dad. And I'm like, all right, well, let's pull up that website again. And she pulls it up, and I think it was like Trade RE. Let me see, Trade RE Roblox or something. I can't remember. It's something like that. Let's see. Trade RE or whatever it was. So she was doing something on here with one of the games in Roblox, and it was going through Trade RE. And then she clicked in, and then when she signed in, the actual Roblox sign in, they copied the entire web page. And then in the address bar up here, if you looked, instead of it being roblox.com, it ended up being like Roadblocks with a couple extra letters, and then the extension was not .com. And I was like, you can tell, because if you look on the Roblox website, and I had her pull up roblox.com, and then I had her pull up this one, I was like, see how they're identical? They're using this website to capture all your information and then steal all your items. Kind of tricky, huh? And it kind of showed how that whole system works. So now she has it in her head. Oh, just because the website looks the same and I click on a link from either a website like this or an email doesn't necessarily mean I should enter my stuff. So teaching kids phishing scams is, I think, really important. That's such a valuable tool, because so many people, especially older people, typically get scammed with banking and things like that, because the websites are very good. They've done a great job of mirroring a lot of the official websites. And now she has PTSD. Nice. You got to let them make the mistakes, right? That's a typical dad move. Be like, well, I don't know if you should stick that in the light socket. It'll be fine. That's well, they're not going to do that again. I'm not that bad. But you got to let them make mistakes. All right. It wouldn't happen in the UK. We have safe plugs. It's true. Here in America, we like to just roll things a little differently. Is it time? Did we finish much? Oh, okay. Let's make a comment. I like the Discord app auto updates. I'd recommend not having it checked when updating. I'll look into omitting it if it detects it already installed. I got through nothing. I just sit here and yap. Has it been 20 minutes already? Dang. All right, 20 minutes. All right, we're going to go over to LinUtil for a little bit. Let's see what we got. America, yeah. Chris talks through the WinUtil PRs. I have noticed a lot of times when I do this, it does get kind of insane. Oh, Bobby the Agent, thanks for the 6 months of tier 1. All right. 2 months and still constantly switching Linux distributions. Man. What distributions have you tried, Bobby? That's what I want to know. Because that's the one thing I'm always kind of curious about when it comes to Linux distros. What do new users try these days? Yap King Classic. Why do you think you are called the Yapper Master on Discord? It's a fair point. It's a fair point. Started with Mint. You know, Mint's a pretty solid start. Where did you end up at? Where are you on now? What's the progression? I went Mint, Debian, Proxmox for my host and VMs. Now straight to Debian. Yeah, there we go, Bobby. Straight to Debian. I like it. I like the Debian straightness. Ah, so good. See, I love Debian. I think it's great. Like, if you have any Linux knowledge or Linux experience, I think Debian's a great distro. I think I made a post the other day, and I said that Bazzite was probably the best gaming distro for someone that doesn't know anything about Linux but wants to come to Linux, because Bazzite kind of puts guardrails up so you can't screw it up too bad. And that's what I love about Bazzite. So I think Bazzite is now my #1 recommended distro for people that don't have any Linux experience. Having said that, a lot of people that watch me do know Linux and are relatively experienced. So for them, you know, I say Debian's always a good one. If you're a big gamer and you also do a lot of sysadmin work, probably like Nambara, I think. Yeah, Arch Debian. I really love Arch too. Yeah, I think Arch and Debian is where most people, that's like an end of journey kind of thing. Like once you get to Arch or Debian, you're kind of like, I don't need to try anything else. I'm good. Okay, how do we want to tackle the pull requests? Holy shnikes. That is a lot of pull requests. It's so many. It's so much. It's so many pull requests. Ah, gosh. Okay. Let's just update that. Oldest ones first. All right. Okay. Do the earliest ones. All right, we're going to go to page 4 of our pull requests. Okay, replace everyone. We got it. So we got Adam in chat. Let's see. Let's just go to Adam's pull requests, all right? Let's go him. Since we got him in chat, let's do that. You were too lazy to do pull requests. You're not wrong. I think that's pretty accurate, actually. Let's go Adam. We're going to go pull requests. We're going to filter by Adam. You have 7 outstanding pull requests, Adam. Let's look at them. Let's start with the oldest, the earliest. Replace every tidely with quote code. Didn't we talk about this? Pull request. Nice. Look at that. Adam's the devil. Sign of the devil. Issue 666. Okay. I think I wanted to deny this pull request because that's good. That's good. That's good. What was it? I think it was touching my Arch setup script. I think it was this one right here. And I don't know if I like that. Because then I got to test the Arch setup script. And I'm like, I don't want to do that. Just deny them all. Easy. Solved. Yeah, so like anytime my Arch setup script is modified, I'm always like, I don't know if I want to mess with that. But I think it'd be fine. These don't look like very large changes. Just switching it from these bash to grep NVMe. I think it'll be fine. Did we test it? Did you test this, Adam, on the Arch setup? I'm going to be so pissed if I have to test this and it fails. Oh, I got the wrong URL. Well, let's see. Well, let's see. Yeah, move them inbounds. Let's see what we got. Pull requests. Let's go. All right, here we go. Like the icons on some of these. Nice. All right, moving on to the next one. Fixed monitor setup, a bug with utility functions, new lines and colors and scripts. Okay, this is something I think I can get behind. I like the documentation you got going on here. It looks good. Everyone looks like they're in agreement. Let's look at the file changes. See what we see. Choose minute monitor configure. Actually, I don't think you want to do a new line after this choose monitor configure, because you want your entry point to be on the end of it, not below it. So if you do a new line, it'll put your entry there. So it'll be choose monitor and you'll be typing your stuff below the prompt. Okay, look at the code. Look at the code. Does that, okay, that looks fine. That's actually just a fix for utility functions. See the full script, the first one. So, I mean, honestly, be fine either way. Green, fixing that. Okay. Let's view the full script so I get understanding of what is happening here. Oh. So yeah, there's this that happens below it. Did not see that. So you do want the new line on it. I was just looking at the change. Context is important. All right, cool. Approved. Pretty simplistic approval. Yep. I like it. Cool. Fix new lines and change colors so they match. All right, only 81 more to go. All right, nice. Moving on to the next one in the pull requests for Adam. Well, I swear we had pull requests. Huh. Where's Adam? Oh, it must have been in one of the ones I closed. Let's see what we got. Let's go recent history. Yes. Nope. Pull requests. Pull. There we go. Pulls. So if you put the repo name /pulls, then the user, that gives you all the outstanding pull requests. Still got a draft for Nix. Now let's go allow exiting out of search mode with Control-C. Okay. Should be a simplistic UI UX config. Add an option to abort search with Control-C. Control-C must be used for exiting the application. Control-C is generally used when the application is misbehaving. I'm against this change. Vim, Nano, blah, blah, blah. Just off the top of my head. Control-C is for their functionality. Control-C is not generally used. I mean, scripting, I'd say Control-C is used to do it, but this is an actual binary application, so Control-C is typically not used to exit. So Control-C is used to exit most scripts and properly terminate those, but since this is not necessarily a script, it's a Rust binary, Control-C is not. So I get where most people are coming from. most of my projects have been scripts, and this is mostly a Rust application that uses a library of bash scripts. So that's where I think Jeeves coming from here. Oh, he's doubling down on it. Okay. You guys. The back and forth here is hilarious. Oh, good. So LJ weighing in. So you got Jeeve and Adam going back and forth here. I love this. This is so funny. Classic Linux devs. All right, down here on one, let's see if LJ breaks the tie here. So LJ's like, if an application needs to force quit, such as if it's hung or otherwise impossible to exit properly, you can send a sig kill with kill-9. I like personally kill all. Honestly, pkill also works too. I'm a fan of pkill. Pkill's my general go. Control-C has never served that purpose. SIG-int is voluntarily handled by the application. And a TUI with its own key handling will not receive any signal from that input. So what's that mean? It means Control-C for search does get the green light. So at the end of the day, Adam wins out on this one. And if we look at the code here, we got cross-term event. We're handling key monitors and sending that into here. We're matching the Control-C and sending a self-exit search function. And then we're adding the exit search function down here with the search action. Perfect. And new box, abort search and search. Fantastic. I mean, even I can read it. So you know it's good. All searches checked. Squash and merge. Let's go. Yes. Let's pull it down. Make sure we're good. Any kind of change to the binary, we always do a recompile. So we're here. We're like, hey, Diablo. Diablo? Where's my Diablo script? Gaming? Gaming. All right. Control-C. Works perfect. Control-C exits from the main menu. So Control-C can exit from the main menu if you spam it, but typically not needed. I like it. I thought Control-C was for copying stuff. Yeah, Control-C really is for copying stuff. I agree, Ang. That's honestly what most of us do because I almost want to remove Control-C from the exit altogether. Now that we've had this back and forth, Control-C, what do we do? What does every single IT person in the world do with Control-C? I'm going to show you. We sit here. We're like, okay, we got to copy this. And we hold Control, we press C. And what else do we do? Control-C. Because everyone knows it's always better to Control-C it 10 times than 1 time. So I think we probably should remove Control-C from the exit altogether. Because at the end of the day, Control-C is copy. First and foremost. Okay. Well, either way, I think it's funny. Regardless, good PR, Adam. Moving on. I like it. Exiting out with the old Control-C. All right, moving on. Back to the Adam pull requests. We are to add auto docs generation instructions to contributing guidelines. All right, let's see what Adam's generation of the documents. Auto generation. Automatic generate. Yeah, cool. I don't think we really, it's just markdown files. We're not really going to do anything with that. We'll just squash and merge, move on. Bam. Next up, fix docs, new lines, docs, contributing markdown. I love me some markdown. How's my markdown doing, by the way? Slight detour here. But, whack it time. Let's go whack it time. Where are we at? Oh, I didn't even log in here. Ugh. All right, here's my whack of time. Actually, this doesn't have my laptop on here. Oh no. Guys. I think I need to go to oh, that feels bad. Poor NeoVim. What's happening there? Python. Ugh. My beautiful structure. my beautiful. Now I'm just another AI bro. Oh, although look at this. Linux still has 82%. Yeah, there's my K-Focus laptop as my machine. Yeah, so I was coding most of this on my laptop while I was at work. Shh, don't tell my work. Yeah, okay. Let's go, can we pull in the last couple days? Let's go. Ooh, let's go last 30 days. What does that look like? It's like a way to track stuff. So you can see where I've actually been coding. So over the last 30 days, I only got 22 hours of programming. I've been lazy. I'm sorry. Sorry. Yeah, I still have a day job. They're going to eventually fire me. But until that day, I love going in there and chatting with everybody. You know me, Yapper Master. I always like going and yapping with people, even in real life. Why do you pay? I want an explanation. Adam, I have the perfect explanation for you. You're going to love this. I don't pay for this. I reached out to the guy and I was like, hey, Wackatime, I like your website here and I see you have a membership program. I don't want to pay for that because I'm something of a YouTuber. I'm quite famous. You may have seen my videos. And can you just give it to me for free? And he's like, sure. So that's why. that's why I use Wackatime. It's got a good interface and I don't actually pay for it. And then my access gets shut off tomorrow by that comment. Someone probably make a short of that. Do you know who I am? I'm the guy that makes bad programming videos. Oh god, the 30 days didn't even help me out here. Look, cursors was 17 hours. Oh no, look away. Look away. Look away. Windows is actually 9 hours. Linux 13 hours. Main PC. Look at that. K-Focus, man. I am clocking in some hours on my laptop. Studio VM. 17 minutes. Arch Linux. I don't remember what one that is. Main PC is the inside PC. So I guess the funny part here, guys, is out of all the live streams I've done, it's these two slivers is my actual programming and what I get done over here. I think I just yap over here. Yeah. I don't actually program when I'm on stream. So we've got Age of Titus, which I've put 20 hours worth of work into. Rustlings, 55 minutes. Diary, 55 minutes. Website, 31 minutes. WinUtil, 17 minutes. All right, we don't need to keep going. Anyways, that's my programming stats. I don't know why we got on that. But I like the new PRs here from Adam. So we're going to approve this. Submit and squash and merge. I'm at 20 plus hours in the last 7 days. Could do better. Yeah, I know. I should do better. This is not a streaming studio. It's a yapping studio. Yeah, you're right. You're right. Master yapper at work. All right. So we got that. Moving up. Dude, we're almost through all of Adam's PRs. Feat, desktop entry, man page installation through LinUtil installer. Oh, I think I like this one. All right, so we're doing escalation tool, doing curl, rust up, and mandb. We are doing those dependencies, which are good. We're doing an install extra. Under install extra, we are installing the man page by curling the man LinUtil.1 directly into USR. Man1 page and creating the desktop entry into USR share applications LinUtil desktop. Solid. I like those changes. LJ says the include directory crate appears to resolve symlinks. Instead of downloading these files from the internet, we could include them in the binary by symlinking them into some directory the script can access. I don't think I like that. I know. Do we want to, though? LinUtil installer already needs internet connection for its functionality. I agree with Adam on this one. I think it's a valid point. Not necessarily either one are wrong, but I don't particularly like symlinking unless I absolutely have to. I like downloading them directly to those respective directories. And if we really were concerned about like modifying or system modification, let's say we wanted to do immutable distros and wanted to keep functionality for this. So the big issue with this installer that I see, thinking outside the box, is instead of putting it in USR, doing .local/share/applications might be better for the LinUtil.desktop because that is compliant with, I think, the XDG standard. And it would work on immutable distros such as like Steam Deck or Bazite or Vanilla. You know, there's a couple other immutables out there. You know, those types of things this would fail. This installation would not work on. Where it would work on by using the .local. Now, as far as the modifications to man page so it can do a proper man page installation, I'm not sure we could do it on those immutable distros. There might be a home folder .local install, but I can't say I ever modified man page through the home directory. So direct manipulation through USR might be needed for man page, but I'm not 100% sure on that. .local/bin is where you'd put the binary. But since this is a .desktop, that's an application shortcut, basically, in Linux. That's why we use .local share applications. So if you have a .desktop file, you should not use the .local/bin. ./bin should be utilized for like a terminal application or something where you have the direct binary. So let's say LinUtil binary, you want to link that instead of a .desktop because .desktop is populating through here. So like that's where these files would come in, but it would obviously not populate binaries in .local/bin or USR-bin or -bin from the root. So that's the difference between all these things. So just to explain it, that's why we do what we do. There's pros and cons to every approach, and it's good to just kind of say them all out loud, and that way you can pick the path. So the big thing with Linux, and honestly any distro, I mean, and honestly any operating system, Windows, good Lord, don't get me started how many times you can install and how many different ways you can install an application in Windows. We'll be here all day. So this is not a uniquely Linux thing. I will say this. It's important to think in Linux of what has the greatest compatibility. And you can achieve this many different ways, but some ways have less compatibility than others. And that's why we do this. Are you using vanilla Google Chrome? Yes. And yes, I'm on version 3. Manifest v3 is active. That was actually the last stream, Yan. We were going through and like, how bad is Manifest v3? Answer, too long, didn't watch. It's a little worse. but really, Not that bad. Arch script doesn't work at all. Really? Are we sure about that? Do we need to do the Arch script? Yeah, Arch script should work. See number 17 in your grub streams, please. Quick merge. Okay, 1 second. Let's go. Oh, 1 second. That's that one. Let's fix this. We got one more PR from Adam, and then we're moving on. Fix, refactor, sys cleanup. Yeah. All right, just finding. Okay, just checking for the variables. I like the way you coded this. It's much clearer and very easy to read. It's just to say, does this directory exist? If so, then do this. And honestly, the A time plus 5. Okay, yeah, that was already there. Great. Yeah, these are just very, very basic. I really like how you coded it so it's readable. Some people will go, well, we can do this in one line, but it does make it less readable. I really do want this project to be very readable for everyone. So not only working on mass compatibility, but also working on the ability for people to steal from the product. I think that's really important. Like when it comes to LinUtil, I want you to code things and I want other people to look at it and go, I like that, I'm stealing it. And that's what I want from the code base. I don't want to obfuscate or make it so complex that it's hard to read. And that's one big thing. So both what Jeeve was mentioning and what Adam did, both were improvements. But what Jeeve put was like a one-liner, and it was harder to read for someone new coming into Bash scripting. So I would prefer more lines that are easier for folks to read, so then they can understand what it's doing, and then they can steal that. And when they steal it, they're learning it. That's the beauty of readable code. It makes way easier to read. That's one thing I have problems with, like Jippity and other LLMs, is a lot of times they make code that's like overly convoluted and hard to read, and that's obviously bad. Now there's certain things that are just impossible to read anyways, like regex. I think that's really where LLMs shine. Like when you need to do a regex match, oh, give me an LLM in any of the day of the week, and then I like to take that, and if you're doing it, I think it's 101 regex. Yeah, regex 101. And then what I do is I take their regular expression, put it in here, and then I put my test string, and then I say, hey, break it down for me. And then I learn that regex, and then I can check it, and I'm like, okay, well, LLM's got me like 90% there with my regex, and then I use a site like regex 101, and then I kind of able to extrapolate a couple extra changes I want to make to that regex so that I can get my matches just perfect. And that's my workflow. All right, anyways, enough yapping. That's solid. Like that. Let's move over. And I think, what was it? Oh, grub themes. We got to go to grub themes. What was that? Top 5 bootloaders? That's why you use humans for code, not bots. Yeah. I think the big thing is you can learn from bots, but it's very important to be very specific in what you're asking for. I've seen too many hot takes where people are like, I am now a full stack developer with my LLM. I don't really know anything about programming, but I just sit here and I feed all of it into Sonnet or Claude, and it just works. And I'm like, nah, no. That's not a thing. That's not a thing. Now, you can prompt a whole bunch of stuff, but you have to be very specific, and you already have to know the structure and how like good code is written before you can really do anything. So just an FYI. All right, here we go. Fix install.sh for grub terminal output. Theme does not work if grub terminal is set to console. Really? Okay. Well, like it. Yes. Let's go. Grub terminal output. 1 second. Let me look at that conversation one more time. Oh, yeah. Because if it's set to console, it'll only prompt to console, so you actually won't get the theme. Sure. Yeah, I think that's a great one too. Trey Pop, I think that's a really good way of thinking about it. AI can be fantastic for learning. Like, just ask them to explain, why is this the way it is? Break it down for me. I think that's great. Oh, I saw that Woods Beetle. I saw the WinUtil ASUS programs issue. Thanks, man. Appreciate that. How can I get into scripting? I know my way around Python. All right, well, you're already ahead of most of the people. Drew, you're already into scripting if you know Python. But I don't know about scripting with it or using Bash, except for maybe a source for another file or an example. Yeah, if you already know Python, Bash, you're going to pick it up pretty fast. Bash is relatively simple, I think. The syntax is much clearer, and I find scripting in Bash much, much easier than Python code. So I think just go find, no matter what language you're trying to learn, whether it's Bash, PowerShell, Python, even Rust and other ones. The big thing here is find a project, something that you can work on that you enjoy, and then just make it. Just go do that. Unless it's like overly complex. Try to start kind of simple with like a simple terminal project or a console project, something small that you just kind of want to do, just a small quality of life improvement for you, and then just work on that project, get that kind of going, and then just do another small project, and then slowly piece together those little things into a bigger project, maybe at the end of it all. And that's the way to go with any kind of programming. Making a whole bunch of like hello worlds and following courses that make Redis alternatives and other things, you might learn on that stuff, but I find just find a project that you're real passionate about and then go for that. That's where you're going to learn most of it. Anyways, this is good. I was forced into PowerShell by virtue of being a Windows sysadmin. Yeah, still not very good. Yeah, PowerShell just has a weird syntax. There's just so many strange rules, and it's overly wordy. I really hate PowerShell for a lot of it, but I mean, you can set up PowerShell profiles that do shortcuts. So a lot of times I take my PowerShell and I do so many aliases, it kind of feels more like akin to a bash shell in Linux than actual PowerShell. So how does Arch Titus work now? Do you start it up? Let's do an Arch Titus install. Oh, let's go. Are we ready for that? Let's go. Let's try old Arch Titus. Let's install Arch Linux for the 1000th time. The last time we installed Arch Linux, it took us about 2 minutes. Can we do that? Cam is frozen. Oh no. All right, sorry. People are gonna be watching this back going, what the? All right. Sometimes chat trolls me and sometimes I troll chat. That's just how that works. Arch Linux. It's been a couple months since my last Arch Linux install. Do we think it's changed at all? I will say Arch Linux, man. It has just been so solid. 1.1 gigs. All right. 180 days. $180 of Arch. All right. Well, Arch is now downloaded. We've got it going. Let's install a little Arch Linux, right? Let's just delete this version. Yes. Create a new one. Dude, we got a lot of this. Let's just delete some of this. Yeah, let's delete that too. 10.7. We'll keep that actually. All right, and Bazite. And dude, I hadn't installed Bazite in a minute. Let's just delete that. Recall test, please no. Okay, clear up some of our ISOs. Let's go to our downloads. Arch 10.1. All right. Go forward. We're going to give it 12 CPUs with 10 gigs of memory. I know 10 gigs is not a valid thing. 20 gigs of space, sure. Arch Linux. Yeah, that sounds good. Let's go with a bridge network instead of a virtual one. CPU topology. Let's manually set that. One socket. Let's go 6 cores, 2 threads for each. So 12 virtual CPUs is what we're going to rock. Let's just start that up. And to Archland we go. Who's got the timer? Should we set the timer? Can we install this faster than... Oh, let's reset, huh? Install timer. Let's reset it. Can we... Ooh, can we just go 0? Oh, that's just a period. I was sorry, I'm messing around with my on-screen timer. Anywho, we can set it to 5 minutes. Let's see how fast we can do this. Best way in Arch these days. Let's just synchronize the database. Let me think. Probably just do the curl fizzle and do Linux. So we'll do curl fizzle christitus.com/Linux. Oops. Gotta pipe that. Let's pipe that to sh, shall we? All right, so now we're in here. And we're just gonna go Arch server setup. Nice. Let's do it. All right, we'll put Titus. Oh wait, before let's start our timer. 5 minutes starting now. Can we beat Windows? Test Arch. Let's go ext4. Yeah. Let's go US. And off we go. What's your experience with Gentoo? Do you recommend MicroWin or another custom Windows 11? I really hate the vanilla version. I recommend MicroWin these days. We've done a lot to optimize it, and I think it's pretty good. So what about the PR closing perms? Do you want me to open PR to do the close commands? Or do you want to invite us to the repo and create protection rules? The protection rules, I think, are only enterprise, and I'm only on a personal plan because I use GitHub for free. So let's do, let's open it up to the PR with the dash close, where we'll do, where if you guys run into a bad PR, you can just close them. I like that. Oh, are they free? Okay, well, let's do protection rules then. I like that plan. Yeah, I got to change my fast fetch to also pull in the overall packages that we do. So the total packages, so you can see how bloated my install or how unbloated my install is. I guess I should pay attention to this Arch install, huh? Just to see if I broke anything. I don't think it's going to break, though. We tested this. I remember I sat here for... Dude, we were streaming for almost 8 hours that day when I was going through the Arch setup. Probably not the most engaging stream content. because I was just sitting here just pouring over the code, you know, and we're gonna get this going. We will get this engraved. All right, there we go. Success. So we're like 2 minutes in, and let's just give it a reboot. Arch should be installed. Boom. Arch Linux. Done. There's our Arch. Let's just install fast fetch. From here, you can install Arch however you want. If you want to do Cosmic, you want to do whatever it is you want to do. Let's go. I bet you. It takes a while for the, let's see. We're still not. There it goes. Yeah, for whatever reason on my VMs, whenever I do a bridge, it does take a little bit. So there's Arch Linux. 192 packages with the Arch server install. We have a themed out bootloader. We have general applications ready to go. So if you want to install whatever one you're gonna go, you want to install my DWM, you can. You want to go directly and go full-blown KDE, you can. You want to go with like Cosmic Alpha, go for it. You want to do a Hyperland install, I highly recommend installing like Yay or Paru and then just doing the ML4W Hyperland install. That's a very good installer. The world is your oyster with the Titus, the Arch Titus server install here. Yeah, it works great still, as I knew it would. And we still have a minute on the clock, even with me yapping. So anyways, we can mark that off the list. Still working good. Love it. You should probably clean up some things here. MK init CPIO is running for like the 20th time. I agree. MKC, and that honestly takes a lot. So I think we could shave like another 30 seconds off the install. Like I know some people are like, dude, you just installed Arch Linux in less than 5 minutes. Actually, probably less than 3 minutes. But the big thing here was, yeah, it still could get better. That's the thing about Linux. Like, even though that is just amazing, it can still get better. So I love it. Yeah, but yeah, we should probably clean that up. Do like MK init CPIO at the very end, I would say. And honestly, I think switching off of, I don't know. Do we want to do LTS? We want to go regular Linux. Kind of on the fence. I'm on the fence about that. You can also install my Oh, I didn't know you're rocking DWM. All right, Adam. Sweet. Chris Titus, thoughts Arch Titus would be a desktop manager you want to use? I don't know. Everyone like has their different opinions about that, and I'd rather you choose. Could you make custom grub theme optional through the setup? Yeah, probably Linux. I think that would be a good idea as well. Currently running ML4W, the Arch from scratch with the Catchy OS kernel and NVIDIA Open module. Feels stable AF on my RTX 3080. All right, Kappa. Like it. Yeah, you could do both. I think starting with LTS is smart, though. I love LTS. Should do a separate partition for home directory. Yeah. It depends. I don't mind. I think from a beginnings perspective, I don't know. It's nice to take that home directory to different OSs and different distributions, but these days I'm kind of like, is it though? A lot of times I'm like, I kind of want to wipe out my home directory and start over if I had to. Linux Arch is not LTS. A lot of micro MK init CPIOs are from Pac-Man hooks, installing kernel headers and stuff. Yeah. Well, the kernel headers I don't think are needed unless you are an NVIDIA user. So you don't really need to do the Linux headers LTS unless you are an NVIDIA user. I feel bamboozled getting the 7800 XT. I assumed NVIDIA would be bad for it. Yeah, I did too. I got my 7800 XT, but actually it's running on my inside system now. Because what I found was the AMD cards are great for gaming, but they kind of suck at video production, and they suck at video encoding too, where NVIDIA just destroys the AMD competition in those two respects. We could debate why that is, but that's just how it is. And yeah, they're both decent cards though. I mean, I still like my 7800 XT. It's still a good value, and it still plays games like a champ. It's just, yeah, video production on it sucks. Encoding and doing like not having access to NVENC encoder when doing like OBS streams and stuff like that sucks. So if either of those appeal to you and you're not just using it for games, then you probably shouldn't get an AMD card. You should revisit Hyperland Titus. Agreed. Let's see. Let's check in with chat here. I have a 7900 XT, but I only play games. Yeah, I think that's fine. Like I said, mostly the NVIDIA cards appeal to people that are using one gaming PC for streaming and need to use NVENC. Also, if you're a video production person, whether that's Resolve or any other, you know, Adobe Premiere and gross, nasty. But yeah, if those, you know, are needed, then you should get NVIDIA for sure. I love your vids. They're really high quality. Awesome, man. Yeah, I try my best with them. There are a couple things in the encoding space that I'm kind of looking forward to, which is really neat. AV1 is crazy good for encoding, I've noticed. So what I ended up doing was switching a lot of my YouTube streams to AV1 in comparison to the regular NVENC. Also trying out a couple different configurations on that. And I know the traditional knowledge is NVENC is better than anything. I don't think so. So there is a case to be made for AV1. And if you do an AMD card, hear me out. I know this is crazy. And then there's probably like speaking to 2 people now that actually live stream to YouTube. But AMD can live stream to AV1 using the AMD GPU really well, and it looks really good. The problem is like Twitch does not accept AV1, and Twitch is still like archaic and they only allow 1080p, which kind of sucks. So they only like that, and really X264 is what you should encode to Twitch with. 1080p, 60 frames, 6000 bit rate, X264, Twitch all day long. That's what you do. I tried the enhanced broadcasting too. You guys, you remember the whole Twitch con like big thing? They're like, enhanced broadcasting is great. Everyone should use it. Now, mind you, this as I am here, I should probably not say this out loud to the public, because the more people that do what I'm doing, the worse off it is for me. However, that's never stopped me before. It's not about to stop me now. Don't use enhanced broadcasting. It's complete garbage. You're going to get so many inconsistent results. The quality of the stream is actually considerably worse. The thing that it does is it takes that one stream you're sending to Twitch or YouTube in this instance. You can, I don't know. Yeah, no, it's just Twitch that's enhanced broadcasting. And it breaks it up into 4 or 5 streams, and all the transcoding that's happening for the stream is done on your PC as the broadcaster. You see the problem here? The thing is, Twitch, the big company making the millions, which is actually Amazon, they have the tech to do all the transcoding. They just don't want to pay for it. So instead, they're offloading that responsibility onto you. That sucks. And as a partner, well, I already have priority and they're already going to transcode all my crap. Why would I do enhanced broadcasting? That's just beyond stupid. I'm going to send them the highest quality stream with the highest bit rate I possibly can, and then they can do the transcoding. They can use their hardware, and my streams are going to look way better than all the other peons that are doing enhanced broadcasting. Yeah, just one of those things. If you know, you know. Sent you a GitHub rule set instructions on Discord. Ah, thanks, Adam. I'll get that done after stream. Oh, let's look. Do you have the link? Oh, yeah. He just linked his DWM. I want to see his DWM. Adam linked his DWM in chat. I want to see that. Yeah, the thing about DWM is it's just extremely functional. I think that's the thing. It's not sexy. You ain't winning any awards with DWM. I'm going to just say right now. But let's see. All right, here is Adam's rice of DWM. I love rices. Linux rices is just, it's just fun. Let's open a new tab, right? Let's go. So here's his. He does the 1 through 9 scheme with the dot. Very traditional DWM. He's got his sys tray. Well, let me take chat off the screen. He's got a sys tray up here. That's cool. Just a time, and then just the windows. Real basic. You gotta love it. Is there anything else here? We have a... Okay, there's that. All right. Right mouse button for resizing is kind of what I got too. Gaps. Ugh. I hate gaps. The rounded corners, also not a huge fan of them. Just call me a square. I don't like gaps, and I just like my square corners. I do have a small gap, like a 1 pixel gap between windows, though. I don't know if I like it, but it's good enough. It animates. Oh, okay. Let's see. Let's see these animations. Are we ready?
Shenanigans.
Do, thanks for joining the members. New member. Dovakin. Ah, Skyrim. Okay. At least that's what I'm thinking in my head. All right, let's see what we got. Are we using FT Labs for the animation? I like it. It's clean.
Shenanigans. 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 Shenanigans.
Oh my. Oh my word. What just happened? Something happened on old YouTube here. Let's check in. Let's check in here. Oh, Rux gifted 5 subs. Thanks, Rux. Appreciate it, man. 5 more Titus Tech members over on YouTube. All right, guys. Welcome. Well, very cool, man. That's neat. Yep, FT Labs for the animations. Yeah, FT Labs does a great job. If you're interested in like a PyCom fork, FT Labs is the GOAT for any kind of PyCom fork. I like it. That's a neat little installer. So if you want to check out Adam, this looks like terminal theme from Hugo. If I was a betting man, I'd say you're using the terminal theme from Hugo. Titus approved right there. That is awesome. OBS sucks in Linux. I don't think it sucks. I think it's just a little more limited, I would say. You don't have quite the feature parity with Windows. It is the terminal theme from Hugo. The guy who created it is Polish, and I am Polish too. All right. It's a great theme. Absolutely. Patrick, thanks for the 5 gifted subs over on Twitch. Well, blew up my Arch install with a system huge today. Time to roll back using time shift. All right. Oh, I love it. I love it. What'd you do, AW, to blow up your Arch system? I always love hearing Arch systems blowing up. It still happens today. It used to happen like every single minute of every day, but rarer today. What happened to cause the blow up? I don't know if ZSH is actually slower. I've always just been a big fan of Bash. ZSH, if you're going to go down that route, I really liked the power level themes that they had. And a lot of the defaults of ZSH, I think, were a little bit better. The autocomplete and like the tab browsing with folders is actually pretty nice on ZSH. You can get that on Bash too. It just requires a little more configuration. Just a yay update. Ooh, let's see if we can break our Arch. Someone in chat said they broke their Arch. It's time to do a yay update since someone said it broke. And I never missed the opportunity to break my system. All right, what are we getting? Oh, good Lord. How many, that's a lot. All right, let's go. All right. That's a lot of files. Let's do it. Boom. Someone said there was a bad update in Arch. Let's see if we can replicate it. I always like blowing up my system whenever I can. Have you heard the news on sanctions that Linux Foundation had to comply? No. Can you link it? Oh, we got a new DaVinci Resolve update. Although, I don't really use DaVinci Resolve too much over here. Ooh, I was thinking about doing a new production type deal, and then I just completely got sidetracked. Something is coming. Oh, Phoronix. Usually when it's Phoronix, that's usually something. Well, why Arch Linux updates in the background? It's time to read some clarity on the Linux kernel's compliance requirements around Russia sanctions. The dirty Russians, I tell you. Hey, I love my Russian viewers. I say that tongue-in-cheek as an American. All right. When a number of Russian Linux developers were removed from their maintainers file in the Linux kernel, it was described as due to compliance requirements, but vague in what those requirements entailed. Linus Torvalds then commented on the Russian Linux maintainers being delisted and made it clear they were done due to government compliance requirements and legal issues around Russia. Now today, some additional light has been shed on those new Linux kernel compliance requirements. There's finally some clarity around the compliance requirements, blah, blah, blah. It comes down to sanction. Yeah, that's what you just said. You said the same thing up here. Is this Jippity? Damn it. I'd much rather have bad grammar and bad, just fundamental spelling errors everywhere than repetition of content. If I read one more web article that repeats itself, I swear I'm just going to go punch babies. All right, sorry. This is not going to be political. This is just from a developer standpoint, so we're not getting into politics. All right. Impacted Russian Linux developers that maintain the kernel's code, Russia's Baikal hardware. All right. Synopsys DW control driver, various media drivers, and more. Serge wrote a lengthy goodbye message on the Linux kernel community. He was surprised by his removal as a maintainer, especially after he's provided 518 sign-offs for kernel patches, 253 reviewed and act patches, and another 80 tested by patches over the years. He concluded his mailing list with, "Hope we'll meet someday in more pleasant circumstances and drink a couple more beers together, but now is time for some to say goodbye. Sorry for the long read. I wish you good luck on your Linux way." Serge Simon, he hadn't been able to get a response over the new compliance requirements for the kernel or much insight into the matter. Veteran Linux kernel developer James Bottomley has now chimed in on the mailing thread with some clarity over the new requirements. James wrote, "Please accept our apologies in the way this was handled. A summary of legal advice in the kernel and the operating is, if your company is under US OFAC SDN lists," okay, whatever that word salad is, subject to sanctions program, owned, controlled by a company on the list, the ability to collaborate with you, and restrictions. Okay. I'm not going to read all of that. Sorry this has come to this, but Linux infrastructure and a lot of the maintainers are in the US, and we can't ignore the requirements of US law. So where'd this come from? Oh. Are you using Google Chrome? Well, sure am. The latest version, 130, Google Chrome. That's me, Google Shill. The legal advice related to the message around maintainer entries is still not clear. For example, if patches from Russian Linux developers are okay, as long as they remain not within the maintainer's file, but the details do at least make clear they are checking against US OFAC sanctions program and individuals. Okay. Again, that's like repeated for the third or fourth time. Let's see if this reflowers. So you got removing of Huawei from the maintainer's file, given their known relations to the Chinese government. Sure. Yeah, it doesn't really say much here. It doesn't say it's from the Linux Foundation or anything. Just the removal of some maintainers from countries with sanctions. So it'd be interesting to see what happens here, but that's kind of sad, you know? But I get it at the same time. Unnecessary evil, maybe. Yeah, but yeah, there's going to be some good developers, good maintainers that are going to be lost because of sanctions. Politics sucks, man. Well, I mean, you know, that's the state of world today. You know, you got the downfall of a lot of globalization. So globalization is fantastic, especially in the open source realm, because you can collaborate with so many people. Like I've collaborated with people from Russia, China, many other countries, and there's so many bright minds out there. And when you can pull from anywhere and everywhere in the world, you can usually get the best result. If you don't discriminate against anybody and you just can pull from this endless talent pool, it's fantastic, especially when you're just reviewing code. Because yeah, if someone tries to like geotan you, poor oh, I just think of the drama with the Tarz with that one file, and that's unfortunate. But if you're actually maintaining a project properly, you're reviewing the code and you're seeing what's coming in, what's going out, it's really cool. It's really neat, and you can advance and make things a lot faster. But at the same token, there are some nefarious actors out there. I just mentioned Geotan with the compression, the XZ exploit that we had earlier this year. That was really bad. And honestly, that could have been a state actor. It could have been politically motivated with objectives to take over a lot of systems around the world for bad purposes, and to protect these projects. And some things, sadly, they're going to have to exclude a lot of developers, and some of those developers will undoubtedly be innocent and just get caught in the crossfire with all this. But I'm just a realist. That's just the state of things, so I understand it. Yeah. It's not going to be political, but at the same time, here's some politics. Yeah. Where are you with removing recall from 24H2? Arrow Lake needs coming updates, is from what I'm hearing. 24H2 will always have the recall feature, and all Windows implementations from this day forward will have recall. Removing the recall feature, we were looking into it. Coding Wonders found ties to the, I think it was a common app runtime that's required on Explorer. When you rip out recall, for some odd reason, it triggers that, which causes the Explorer to fail and revert back to the old version. Whether this is a hard-coded dependency, we don't know. What that dependency is, we don't know. It's all closed source. There's no way to verify any of this. We don't understand why these hooks are into this area and how it's interfacing with Explorer, and why removing recall in its entirety and its source files would cause this bug. But as of today, as of going forward, if you are a Windows user, you will have the recall feature on your system with its source files. Whether that recall system is fully functional, probably not. Yes, you can disable the feature, which could be remotely accessed and re-enabled by anybody with access to your system. That is the world we live in as well. So for Windows users out there, that's the state of things. Now, can I go in and rip out those files? Absolutely. Will I? No. The problem with removing them is I will break things, and there's going to be things in the future that get added. And if those source files do not exist, those added features will not function properly or cause other mayhem. And then that's going to look poorly on me. So even though, yeah, I got your back, at the end of the day, it's just going to cause all kinds of problems for you and me. And ain't nobody want that. So if you don't want recall, don't update. And when you do have to update, well, you're just going to have a recalled experience. So that's the state of Windows. You know, it is what it is, but that's where we're at. And maybe they walk back this in the future. Maybe for whatever reason, it was just a bug and some kind of hook got put in there with the recall feature. And maybe the recall feature wasn't even supposed to be developed or pushed out to x86 systems. All these are possibilities that many Linux or Microsoft fanboys would have you theorize or believe. But from what I've seen, all of those beliefs are incorrect. So we are still on the solution hunt. I don't think there will be a solution, though. If we're just being real here, I don't think there's going to be a solution to this. Much like, here's another hot take too. Since we're in the truth-telling game here, the reality of it is you will be using Manifest v3. Everyone will use Manifest v3 in 1 year's time. That's just how it is. Firefox users, yeah, you'll be a little late to the game, but guess what? You'll be using Manifest v3. Everyone will. So, yeah, that's just another one. Yeah. Like it, hate it. That's just how it is. Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, move to Ladybird. I mean, you can try other solutions, but here's what's going to happen, guys. Why I say everyone's going to be using Manifest v3 is I'm using it right now. It's very fast. And what's going to happen is Google owns most of the web, and most of it has hooks into Google API and all this stuff. Google is going to make it to where those non-Manifest v3 users have a inferior experience. What is that inferior experience? Lower performance. Things will just load. It'll load slower. It'll feel worse. Yeah, you'll be blocking all the ads and all the trackers with your V2 and your superior ad block. uBlock Origin full version. Yes, all these things are true. But the web will feel worse for you because of v3 is used by the rest of the world. It will be adopted. People will use it. And you will comply eventually. So, yeah. Man, sorry. I don't want to tell you that. I could lie to you. I could lie to you and say, oh, yeah, we're all going to just use V2 and Brave and Google Chromium. But I don't feel like lying to you guys. That's just, yeah. I have a PR for recall that tackles Explorer look another way. PR 2947. Let's take a look at 2947, shall we, Coding Wonders? We got him in chat. Might as well. Let's look at it. Pull request. Disable recall. 2974. Yours is 2947. Fix recall dependency misinformation. Okay. This PR removes the recall exclusion, adds the true fix from 2697 thanks to whether or not, or the cat on the ceiling for spotting this problem, thanks to Microsoft for not testing Jack. Let's take a peek. Resolve something external from GitHub, any misinformation called recall being a dependency. All right, here we go. So now we will be stripping out the recall files for this. We're adding a new function called get localized users, and it's going to check for admin dependency. It's looking for a local group, which with the definition S-1-5-32-544 and 545. So it's grabbing all the objects from that local group. Then what are we doing with that? Changing the app manifest XML. Found the culprit, do the following. Taking ownership of the file in File Explorer. Set the ACL so it can write to the app manifest XML for File Explorer. Open the file and do the modification. Man, this is a in-depth fix. Damn, man. Is that really misinformation at this point? Having to do with that, changing the app manifest to fix it, bro. That sounds like a dependency to me. What happens when they update File Explorer through the Microsoft Store? Is that going to change the app manifest and screw it all up again? Maybe. Let's see what the other one is. Disable recall. That grabs the localized name of the user group for non-English systems. Okay, I gotcha. This one's just doing disable recall, disable feature using that. Yeah, that's good. Markdown, just adding the documentation. So a very simple feature fix. That looks good to me. Let's go ahead and merge this. This is just going to add this directly into here. And I do like Coding Wonders fix here. Obviously, if we can remove the source files for recall, that is always a one. The extent Coding Wonders had to go through to get this to work is kind of crazy. The back and forth is what I'm talking about here. That's wild, man. Doing God's work there, Coding Wonders. This is a little bit ridiculous. You had to go to this kind of length, but, you know. You got it. What's the point on recall on Microsoft's end? I don't know. Nobody really asked for this feature, and it's just kind of pushed on everybody. Everyone just immediately saw the feature and went like, well, that's creepy. And then Microsoft proceeded to go, yeah, we're going to just install it on all these systems. And then everybody's like, whoa, okay, that's weird. All right, well, as long as it's just on Copilot plus PCs with TPM. And then like 24H2 update came along and like, okay, well, the feature's not working, but now you're installing the stub for all of the feature on every x86 system. Why is this getting added to every single system? Why is all these features here? Why is there even a recall feature for these systems if we can't use it? And that's really where we're at. I don't think we have an answer really on this. By the way, great job, Coding Wonders. We'll test this out. We'll do a test install. It could be coding. It could be just lazy coding. Yeah. But yeah, we really don't know why the recall features wanting it. Why is it default there? Why is that feature there in the first place? Why is it enabled from a Windows feature perspective? We don't know. The Strix Point and Lunar Lake chips received the 24H2 update before GA. That could mean something, true. And there are talks of adding recall functionality for newer chips with a what is it? NPU. So they are talking about like NPUs coming to all computers, which would enable the recall feature, so you can actually see it in its entirety. Like right now, the recall feature doesn't look like it does anything, but it's there. So that's where we're at. Like, I don't think there's anything more that we can say. Definitively, all we can say is 24H2 has the Windows recall feature by defaults. It's enabled by defaults. It doesn't look like it does anything, and there's no way to see it anywhere in your GUI. Unless you have like a NPU, which is some of the new CPUs with functionality for AI, like Copilot PCs is what many people call them. And then if you do have those specific ones, the recall feature does activate in its entirety, and you can actually pull up a GUI with all the information with it. That's true. So yeah, if you have an AI CPU, you can do all that. Well, why would you want to, or what's the purpose of this feature? Man, it's just a feature that Microsoft wanted to push, and that everyone's like, I don't want, but I guess we'll take it because we don't want to learn Linux or switch to Mac. And I guess that's where we're at. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. It's just very weird. The whole thing was weird. What's going to be the state of Windows in 5 years' time? Probably about the same as today. You know, it takes a long time to boil a frog. Yeah, that's just a typical Windows user. I've been one for a long time. And it's always just a slippery slope. It's just like, okay, what are we giving up next? I wouldn't trust these screenshots to get uploaded somewhere or accidentally, or someone like getting in the system. I get it. Technically right now, we haven't seen any report of this yet. We haven't seen recall phoning home. We haven't seen anybody that does have like actual recall PCs and that information getting leaked outside of that computer yet. So we haven't seen anything where recall has been abused yet. It's just everyone's kind of on edge going, dang, that definitely could happen, right? And everyone's like, yeah. I mean, at the very least, if someone gets access to your computer and just does a screen share, they can see pretty much everything that you've done and just go like a simple search using recall and just type passwords, and it's going to show passwords that flashed up on your screen. That doesn't feel good. Like, that doesn't feel like a good feature that you should implement. And then you have all the data storage in the background of it. It definitely feels more akin to, like a lot of people like to sensationalize and treat it like a George Orwell kind of like dystopian future, which I guess it kind of is in many ways. But it's less of like, hey, we want to see everything you're doing, and more of, we need more data. We need more functions. And to me, if I was like an evil person and I worked at Microsoft and I really wanted to push recall, the only motivation I would have, thinking from that perspective, would be, let's gather up as much data as we can and then push that into like Copilot or one of our large language models so we can develop them to be even better. And yeah, we might steal some people's work along the way, but we've already crossed that bridge. Why stop now? That's just my thoughts. All right. That's cool though. Got a couple more PRs done. What was the worst thing Microsoft added in Windows, and what's the best thing that they got rid of? Best thing they got rid of, Cortana. Cortana was hot garbage. Although I feel like they just took Cortana and rebranded it Copilot. So I don't know if Cortana really left. I feel like it was much like a debate and switch kind of situation. What's the worst thing they added? To Windows. Worst thing they added to Windows probably would be the out-of-box experience has been no Microsoft Store. Microsoft Store is number one. If going back 10 years, the Microsoft Store has just been hot garbage through all of it. And they've tried to push the Microsoft Store 50,000 different ways, forcing Microsoft accounts and everything stems from the Microsoft Store being there. If the Microsoft Store never got added, Windows would be so much better today. So Microsoft Store would be my number one. Very much like the butterfly effect, where if that never existed, Windows would be in a much better state today. Like a much better state. So yeah, Microsoft Store is the worst thing ever added. Best thing ever removed was Cortana. That's kind of my thoughts on that. Have you seen Claude literally using mouse and keyboard and mouse? This could be it. I haven't seen that, Adam. That'd be great. Can you make a pre-release? Oh yeah. Let's see. Let's pre-release WinUtil. We'll come back in here. We'll run this workflow. I don't think we have a pre-release right now, do we? Let's take a peek. Yeah, right now we just have the latest MicroWin Anniversary Edition. We won't make a stable release right now. This is WinUtil we're on right now, Adam, too. But we probably... I want to get through a couple more PRs on LinUtil. Clean up some of our pull requests. Is recall part of Windows Server? I think, yeah, people were saying recall was still there on Windows Server. I need to do an install, though, and verify. I haven't seen it. Devices with Windows RT are now bricks if they continue to run. It due to the store server shutting down. Yeah. Oh, man. I remember the old Windows RT. That's crazy. There are a couple more PRs in WinUtil that are basic cleanups that can be merged without any impact. Oh, okay. What do we got? Approved verbs. Invoke. Yeah, I'll have to test that. What else do we have? Do need to do the uninstall as well. I need to look through some of this. Some of these probably need to close out. These drafts have kind of been hanging out for too long. I might close them out. Just wait for those to get done. I just hate drafts hanging out too much. It's Microsoft actually putting recall into Windows enterprise products. I think there's some IoTs that have it and some that don't right now. But I have seen some reports that like LTSC does have recall, the 2024 version, I want to say. So yeah, just stay on 23H2 as long as possible. You should be good for like at least another year or two, Kronos. So there's no like pressing priority to upgrade to 24H2. And frankly, nobody should upgrade to 24H2 right now. If you really want to gimp Windows on the updates and make sure a feature update doesn't happen, here's a good way to do it too. If you want all like updates to fail, here's the trick. Can't be bypassed. It's actually a bug with Windows, but a trick nonetheless that Microsoft implemented unknowingly. But you can use it to your advantage if you want. It's a cool little trick. Yeah, so you still want to get your security updates where you can, but let's say you want to avoid like big feature updates. What happens with big feature updates is it likes to touch the boot partition where boot MGR resides, which is the boot manager for Windows. And that boot manager can be downsized to less than 500 megabytes. And you may think, Titus, why would you change your boot partition to less than 500 megabytes? Well, there's a little known check that happens with these big feature updates. They don't do massive feature updates to Windows if the boot partition is less than 500 megabytes. So if you come into like disk management, we'll just come over here. And let's say you have this boot partition right here, this EFI partition. It's only 100 megabytes. That's actually not big enough from a boot perspective. So when you go to upgrade this system, a lot of times it'll fail because your boot partition's not big enough. And that it's going to want like at least 500 megs. Technically, you probably should be about a gig. So you could probably just delete this if you wanted, and then just create it over here and just set it up, copy your boot files here, and then on your subsequent updates, it won't actually work. Probably actually the best way to show this here, I'm going to shut this down. I do it on my inside PC. So let me show you from a non-VM perspective. VMs are a little bit tricky. So let's go Moonlight. And I'll show you this hack on actual hardware. Let's go here. We'll just load this up. It's going to look a little funky because this is 1440p scaled. So, yeah, good thing I didn't have anything bad on my screen, right? All right, now let's go disk management. And I can't really blow this up, but you can see right here, we have a little bit of a funky setup. There is this is actually a VM. You can see the down arrow here. It's an offline, so it can't use this. And you may be thinking, why do you have a dedicated hard drive for that? Main reason is because I use Hyper-V, and this is a Linux install. So it has no access to this EFI partition. This recovery partition doesn't really even matter. We could actually delete that. And there is no boot partition that it has to boot off of. So right now, there is no really boot files that are on a specific partition. So it doesn't have any access to this partition. And this is all offline, used for a Linux install, and the actual partition over here couldn't. Now, if I wanted to fix this and update from this system right now, because if you go WinVer, I think I'm on 22H2. I'm not even on 23H2. But let's say I wanted to update that from 22H2 to 23 or even 24H2. I would delete the recovery partition. Typically, I would do this with like disk part. I'll show you that real fast. Oh, we never did check the Arch update. Yeah, let's check that out, Path. Agreed. Let's go disk part. Oh, you know what? Let's do this as admin so you guys can see what's happening. 1 second. Let's go. All right, here we go. Disk part. So in disk part, you can go list disk. We're going to select disk 0. List par, and you can see the different partitions. So we'll do partition 3, which is a recovery partition, and then del par override, I think, and then list par. So what I did here is I wiped out the entire recovery partition, which is kind of worthless unless you use reagent C, which most people don't even know what the F that is. I did a video on it, which nobody watched. And yeah, so now we don't even have a recovery partition. You just have your main data partition that gets accessed and used through just an EFI stub that's there. And you can't update your system. So like, let's say we go into settings. And I think there's already outstanding since I'm on 22H2. I'm sure there is. And yeah, there's a cumulative update. to update the system, it'll download and then fail. So yeah, that's kind of a wild thing that Windows users can do. I don't think I recommend this, mind you, because some people will break their boot by doing it. I'm not really that concerned with my boot because if I have to, it's all running UEFI, so I could always add another partition on the end of the drive and say, hey, yeah, I got 700 megs of free space. Let me just go ahead and create a boot partition, which, heck, I think we could probably do it right now just to showcase that. I'll let that install in the background, but let me just show this. I probably would go list disk, 1 second, cell disk 1, 0, list par. Let's list vol actually too. So right now we have these volumes and partitions. We go new par. Let's go help maybe. I think help. Let's see. New par. Is a dark disk par has some of the craziest. Well, I think it's just create actually, not new. Create par. We'll just do EFI. List par. So now we have a 701 EFI partition with that selected. Then we probably would want to do assign letter equals G, probably G. Let's do H. List vol. So now we have an H hidden partition that's raw. You'd probably want to format the FAT32. So let's go ahead and exit. And heck, we could probably do this in the GUI too, just to show you kind of how Windows works. You can't even format it here. All right, whatever. Format H colon. It's been a while since I actually used the format command. Let's go. I don't think we need to specify a size. I think we'll just go FAT32. So we'll just go format H colon and what was it? FS? Yeah, FS. FS colon FAT32. We'll just say, oop. Actually, before we do this, let's add a -Q for quick. Otherwise, we might be sitting here for a minute. So we'll do that. Volume label. We'll call it boot. And now we have a hidden H EFI directory built with Windows using FAT32. And if we look at our disk permissions, you can see that partition and this partition 3. It doesn't really show much. And disk management kind of sucks. But anyways, we have that. So that's formatted. It's good to go. And what was our list? You can see, I think it was the list vol right here where it said raw. Let's come back into disk part just to double check. List vol. And now you can see the boot partition is healthy. It's a FAT32. It's EFI. So now you can go boot. It's not boot rec, is it? I think it's boot. I just don't think boot rec is it. It's I made an article about it. Let me look it up on this computer. Doing this all remote is not recommended. This is just for science. Let's go Windows partition. Kang, thanks for the prime, man. Reagent C, deleted boot partition. BCD boot is what we're looking for. Here, we'll just copy this. So what it'll look like is something like that. C Windows, we'll preface that. So there we go. Boot files are created. Everything is there. So now when Windows boots, it should boot properly without doing like an EFI type boot. Like before it was still working, mind you. But now when we restart this system, it should actually update to the latest and greatest. So I think before, if we look at the history, you can see all the failed updates. Let's go back to Windows Update. and go update history. We should have a bunch of failures. Yeah. So what it looks like is this. Oh, can I not update? I wish I could scale this for y'all. Let's see. I think this is the last cumulative update for 22H2. Anyways, if you zoom in, it says failed to install. Error code 0x800 F0, F is in Fox, 922. So this right here is the install error. And basically what that error code is telling you is, hey, you do not have, and you can see it failing a couple times here. You don't have a valid boot partition. Therefore, we're not going to update your system. So fun little hack, so to speak. And this thing's honestly probably due for a reload. That's where I'm like, I really don't care. We'll do Alt Control and Q probably. Yes, we'll stop that. Yes. And let's check on an Arch install here. So anyways, this is the install we're doing. It's roughly 6 gigs on Arch. Let's go. Oh, read my sub message. Okay, let me see. If a woodchuck could chuck wood, how it could chuck code? How much could a woodchuck code? I like it, King. I like it. That's awesome. Can you boot up Windows with the boot files being all in one partition and see Windows? No. Yeah. So when you boot Windows, you need to have an EFI partition somewhere. Or referencing those. Well, maybe you could if you just did like an EFI stub. I don't think I've ever done it that way. But yeah, I guess you could. There's a lot of different workarounds. It's weird how you can kind of break Windows and Windows will still work. I don't necessarily like it, but there's a lot of jank with Windows that it'll keep limping along, where most of like Mac or Linux will just hard stop and go, hey, you really shouldn't have deleted all of the boot partition. Windows is kind of like, you know, where's workarounds? We'll just fail over to this. And most times that's not a good idea. You think the Church of Luke Smith will return someday? I don't know, man. I think Luke cashed in his chips in the crypto game. I think he was like, man, forget talking about all this Linux stuff. Monero's where it's at. I'm going to fall off the grid and live on my little plantation in Louisiana by myself. So I don't see Luke. I think Luke will pop back up every once in a while, but I don't think he'll ever create content like he once did. So Monero stopped his yapping. Yeah, I think a lot of influencers went to the crypto game because there was just so much money in it. He was the original Linux yapper. I mean, I loved a lot of his like outdoor talks and stuff. It was hilarious. And he was like the very first to do like DWM, and a lot of his files and how he set up his system was really interesting. It was awesome. Louisiana has the best Southern food. Yeah, it really does. And that's, I mean, I don't know. Texas has some pretty good barbecue, but man, when it comes to like Cajun, go to like Louisiana, Southern Louisiana, and geez, it's so good. I mean, even northern parts are actually not bad. They're pretty good too. Thorium browser's on 128 version, and regular Chrome is 130. What's your take on forcing recall, always running in the background? Oh, we just talked about that, Kang. But yeah, right now, I don't think it's really doing much, but we don't know what the future holds. But it's definitely a privacy issue, for sure. You know, I still like Thorium. I know a lot of people think I'm crazy, but I still like Thorium. I think it's a good browser. Yeah, I know it's only run by one guy, but I really like it. We're going to try out Yabby Window Manager on macOS. I need to actually boot my Mac over here. It's been sitting unhooked, powered off for like 2 years or something. Ever since I stopped editing in Final Cut Pro in like 2022, I haven't really done anything with my Mac. I just have it there just to have, because I was like, I don't want to sell it. And it's not really worth that much. So I was like, I'll just keep it just to have. Why don't people like Thorium? So I think it was like a year or two ago, I recommended, I was like, Thorium's the best browser. So then what ended up happening was that video ended up getting like 500,000 views or something silly. And people started diving into the source code. And there was 2 big things that were in the source code of a browser, mind you. And it was on just GitHub. One was like, he's an advocate for anti-circumcision, which, as you can imagine, putting pictures along with what I just said, totally not cool, especially in a browser. Yeah. Oh, God. That was just awful. And then I was like, oh, God, why would you put that there? And then the other thing, there was an Easter egg inside the browser if you typed, I think, Yiffy or something like that. I can't remember. Y-I-F-Y. Something like that. It stands for something in the furry community. And is it furries or is it cartoon people? I can't remember. And yeah. He had a suggestive bunny with I mean, it wasn't anything graphic, mind you. It was just in a sensual position, I guess, in an Easter egg portion of the browser back when I recommended it. So yeah. Yif is furry. Okay, well, thanks for that. Yeah, so people lost their shit. That's the short of it. And I was like, I had to make a follow-up video going, guys, I didn't know that was in the source files, and I didn't know that Easter egg even existed. I just liked the browser and what he was doing with the browser files. So that was a fun video to make. I stopped using Blue Sky because of the furry thing. Yeah, I found a block list for my Blue Sky so I could block all the furries. They'll still make it through. It has a massive furry audience, so for any furries out there, Blue Sky's got your back. You just load up the Discover feed and have at it. But I'm not into that. No hate here, but not my jam. And yeah, I got a couple block lists to get rid of all of it. So I think if you look at my profile, I put all the block lists I use. I use like a AI crypto bro block list. So people shilling crypto and all that garbage, I'm like, meh, block all those guys. And then you got like all the furries and suggestive cartoon artists, I guess you call them. I don't know what they're called. There's another block list for those people as well. So toss that in there. So block all those. So now my feed's pretty clean and I just see what I want to see. Not into that. So I made the block list, and the funny part about it was, as soon as I made the block list, I'm like, this should block all the suggestive cartoons on your timeline. The top comment that got all the upvotes. This is why I love Blue Sky. The engagement over there is really good. The block one's like, and suddenly his timeline stopped showing all Arch Linux content. I thought that was pretty funny. Because like Arch Linux and like anime girls are like a thing, apparently. It's just like goes hand in hand, which is pretty true. And honestly, since I made those block lists, my timeline's been pretty clean. Let's see. What does my timeline even look like? why this update's finishing. Let's see what we got. Yeah, so here's what I got. Coming from Twitter, I had like 22,000. I still do on Twitter. I have like a couple. No, I'm at like 3,000 followers now on Blue Sky. So the big things were Blue Sky is simply better. Noticing 5 to 10x engagement. So a lot of people are actually engaging more here and talking. No paid prioritization, so you don't have to shill out $100 a year to get priority so people can read your posts. You don't have any rage bit or farming engagement for dollars, which Twitter does have. Where Twitter, if you don't know, the whole reason why people make a bunch of rage bait, basically stuff that makes you angry, is because you'll respond to it. And the more people respond, the more that creator gets paid on Twitter. It's why it's such a dumpster fire, because there's all of that. And then there's no deprioritization of Twitch and YouTube links. So when I go live here, I can make a post on my actual Blue Sky account saying, here's my Twitch, I'm going live. And it doesn't get deplatformed or suppressed. And it does on Twitter, where 5 to 10 people will see it if they go directly to my profile, but it actually works here. So you got all that. People sitting here chatting. And really what you do is, if you go to my profile, is I'll go through, let's see. Here's the great block list. Furries be gone. So there's 3 different block lists I enabled to get rid of all the furries. And then I have another block list down here, the anti-NFT AI crypto shill list. So I subscribe to all these block lists and it cleans up my feed. So then when I go to Discover, let's see what the Discover is. We got Pirate Software, Liam, Craft Computing, Phil Platt. I don't know who that is. It's a new, looks like an AI generated image. Mark Harris, I don't know who that guy is. Real cost of living crisis in New York, whatever. Blue Sky now has 13 million, blah, blah, blah. I don't know that guy. Cartoon artist, I guess. Trying every inventory. Some memes. Nice, nice. Brody, show me your contributor COC. Brody's baiting people. All right, three owls. Oh, here we go. There's some suggestive cartoons. New to Blue Sky. All right. But I mean, it's all. Oh lordy, what? No. You sit here and kind of just flip through. But most of the stuff, I just like this feed a lot better. There's Jeff Geerling. And yeah, it just is very clean now. So like, if I only want to see the stuff from my people I follow, I just only go to like only posts. Let's see, does this pull up? Come on. It broke. Twitter problems. All right, so these are the people I follow. So Pirate Software, Jeff, Redbeard Flynn, Jill, Bazite Team, Craft Computing, Barnacles, just, oh wow, he was posting a ton. What was he doing at? Dude, Barnacles must have run a bot or something and spammed out of the world. Anyways. Yeah, so it just follows all those people. There's Melky, Lunduke, Simone, Hank Green. You got a little bit of everything over here. So it pulls my feed in and it only shows the things I want to see. I like that. I can appreciate that. Oh, I need to follow Drummer. Yeah, and I think that's the big thing. Like, I don't usually sit in the Discover feed. I just kind of wanted to see what the Discover feed had, just for everyone. But for the most part, I stick to just the people I follow, and then I just kind of scroll through once a day. So I'm not sitting there like absorbing a bunch of like political garbage or random rage bait from what you normally would see in a feed like that. So it's usually content creators is usually the people I follow, just kind of see what they're posting. So I have a good kind of beat of what everyone else is releasing and talking about. And then I just scroll through. I'm like, okay, cool. Got everything I need to know. and then I exit, and then I'm not sitting there just refreshing my notifications or anything like that. It's not meant to hold me there for hours on end. Like just this 5-minute section, I'm pretty much good for the rest of the day. Maybe before I go to bed, if I really feel like checking it and I'm bored, maybe I might pull it up and see if there's anything new. But really, it's only there for maybe one time check-in, spend 5 to 10 minutes, and then that's all I need to do for that day. And I like that. Is there anything like this but for Twitter? I think the problem with Twitter now is there's no block lists, and they started polluting my feed with a bunch of political garbage. And that was when I was like, man, come on now. I don't need this in my life. And I don't know. It just feels weird. Like you had the porn bots over on Twitter, which got pretty bad, where you couldn't even read replies because you could just have nudity. And I was like, well, if I'm streaming, I can't have that. That's just terrible. And then the second thing was, if you look at the just ads that are over there, it's just nonsensical garbage. A lot of the ads are like to mobile games that don't even exist, and they're just like scams. And then the rest of the ads are usually some form of politics. And I was just like, I don't need that in my life. It doesn't make me feel good when I get on there and I look at it. Where pretty much enough creators and other people I follow moved over to Blue Sky that I don't need to check Twitter anymore. So I went ahead and removed my Twitter profile and from like all my socials. So I just use Blue Sky now. Works for me, and I don't really think much more than that. I don't need to make like a Twitter post and going, I can't believe you guys are over there. You gotta move or anything like that. I'm like, hey man, if Twitter's your thing, that's your thing. Go for it. I mean, who am I to tell you? I just found something that worked for me, and that's what I'm using. Yeah, I mean, Barnacle kind of goes crazy with the political stuff. I agree with that. I'm hoping he returns to a lot of the tech stuff, but yeah, it's easy to get absorbed by politics. You can see that. You can see that with Lunduke. You can see it with Barnacles. You can see it with some creators that just get overly saturated into the politics, and then they lose sight of where they're going. And that's sad. That's just sad when it happens. But I still follow those guys just to see. And I'm like, I hope they return to doing more tech-oriented stuff. I really love a lot of the tech-oriented stuff when they do it. It's just most times they're like, I'm going to talk about this political thing. And I'm like, oh, God, no, not again. All right. Yeah, that's the thing. Get in, get out, do your stuff. All right. We're done with our update. Speaking of yapping, Master Yapper here. Let's give it a reboot and see what we get. And I'm sure I say stuff that people don't agree with all the time. But I try to stay in my lane. I try to stay to the things like, okay, well, I've had about 10, 20 years of experience in this topic. Let me talk about this. I'll talk about something I got some experience with. I'm not going to talk about something I don't know firsthand, or I don't have decades of experience in. I don't see a point in it. At that point, you're just spouting out someone else's opinion. All right. Do you think Arch is going to explode here? We did, 6 gig update? Do we have Arch explosion? Maybe? Well. Uh-oh. Yeah. Perfectly fine. I never had a moment of doubt there. See? What's that about? Import has been deprecated. Use general.import instead. What's that about? Huh. Oh. So you just use alacrity migrate. Oh, okay. Solved. Just an update with alacrity using general.import instead of import. Easy. Boom. Look at that. I gotta say, I think we end it here. A little bit unfulfilled. I kind of expected a giant boom at the end of it. But alas, we've updated the Linux for 180 days in Arch. We've done everything to break it. And yet, it remains Arch Linux. Amazing. It never breaks. I mean, Arch has gotten way more stable, man. Way more stable. I love it. Does the LinUtil need to be fixed to those alacrity changes? Probably. Maybe? Nah. Not yet. Because you got to remember Debian users are still going to be using an older version of alacrity, and running alacrity migrate is not that big a deal for Arch users. As soon as they launch it, they'd be like, oh, alacrity migrate, enter. Where your Debian users, if you have general.import, it might not read it. So, there we are. All right, y'all. Well, I hope y'all have a wonderful weekend, and I will see you next Monday. I know I've been missing my Monday streams. I think I've been doing Tuesday, Thursday, but I'm going to try to get back in, get the 3 going. Maybe if I don't stream on Monday, I'm going to definitely get on and code. Because I do need to get through a lot of those updates. I'm going to get through Adams, PR, and get those guys and being able to close out like miscellaneous PRs that kind of come through, so we can kind of get through a lot of these PRs on the Linux utility, and they can clean up some of it, so I'm not looking at 80 pull requests. Ugh. And Linux utility, we'll look through. I know I need to check in with Drift user and see where he's at. He was about to launch like a brand new UI for installing programs that look pretty good. So, couple things to do. So next Monday, well, I think we'll probably stream and kind of go through it all. It's just sometimes I get more done when I don't stream. So either way, we'll get through some stuff. All right, y'all. Peace.